Welcome to the Service MVP Podcast. This is where you go to learn how to use pure motive service to create higher value to grow your results. And now, here is your host, America's Service Sales Coach, Joe Crisara.
Welcome to the Service MVP Podcast, and my name is Joe Crisara, America's Service Sales Coach. And today we have with us a very special guest, Cody McLeod from Utility Plumbing in Rancho Cucamonga. Welcome to the show, Cody. How are you doing today?
Great, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Well, today's subject is going to be called Brick by Brick, which is a famous saying that Cody has trademarked. No, he's just teasing. He uses it to illustrate that the best way to grow a company is to grow and build your own people. Cody, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely. I'm very happy to be here.
Cody, let's talk about this. You know, a lot of times people say one of the biggest and hardest things is finding good people. You know, it's like my biggest problem is I need to get better technicians, or I need more people, right? And there's two routes to go. One is, there's a lot of companies that do recruiting and things like that, and you can dump money into all the recruiting methods, which, there's some validity to that. But there's also an acknowledgement that the best way to grow long-term is with hiring your own people who are good and just teaching them how to work in the trades. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your philosophy and just give me an overview there?
Excellent. So, our philosophy is to, hire apprentices and really bring them up in the trade. So I like to hire, people that have gone through a trade school before. That way they've actually picked plumbing as their career. And then we put them through a 4-year plumbing apprenticeship through the PHCC. And we do on-the-job training within our organization. So
it sounds like this is something that goes deeper and farther than just because you appear to be a young man.
Yes, sir.
It is a lot. It is something that a lot of times people who are a little older start thinking like that. But what inspired you to get involved with educating people and getting them into the trades and things like that? Is there anything, a backstory there when you were younger or something that inspired you to take this part of the trade on?
Absolutely. So I'm a second-generation plumbing contractor. And back when I was in high school, nobody talked about the trades whatsoever. It was all about, if you didn't go to a 4-year university, you were pretty much a failure. Back when I was in high school, I graduated in 2008. And, so I got straight into the trades. I went to junior college and stuff. I went to a couple different colleges, but I got straight into the trades basically after junior college. I learned to make a name for myself using my hands at first, and then as I got into it, I became a partner in my family business. And that really, then I got into the customer service aspect of it and sales. And, I was really able to make a name for myself in the trades.
So you yourself were developed with the help of your father in this trade?
Correct. Yeah. As far as in the field, definitely.
I think there is a sort of a paternal connection in this in the trades, where we're either trying to prove to our father that we're going to be a success, or we're trying to extend the legacy of our parental relationship and make our parents proud of us. How deep does that go into your psyche? You still have what's your relationship with your father like now? Do you guys still have a great relationship?
Yeah, it was a little rough getting my business started, leaving the family business and everything, but today my relationship with my father is very good. And at the end of the day, my father is a hard working man, and I saw him, work hard every day of my childhood and stuff. And I was a partner with him for many years. So, that plays a big role in how I run my business today.
Well, if you don't know, Cody is probably in this area in California. And I think I've seen other people as I go to other shows and events that he's very highly respected. And he's kind of a cult figure in this business where the most famous person you probably never heard of, I would say. When I went to his place and I experienced the culture he's developed there, it was pretty phenomenal. I went out there and we spent a morning with his team, and I was very impressed with all the things you were doing to develop the people there. Now, it's one thing when you're going through the process and somebody's teaching you how to go, how to go from high school into the trades, and then first start with the workmanship and then get the customer service and then the sales, and you're still building all three elements of these things. It's one thing when you're going through it as a student and doing that, What was your awakening about the effort it would take to take other people now and be the teacher at that point? Tell us, what did that shift for you? When did you have a situation where you were a student and all of a sudden you say, you know what I got to do, start doing it. I need to start teaching, giving back now at this point. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I did was just lead by example in the field. And then I got guys to believe in our business and stuff. And I'm not sure if it was a significant moment in time, but it was just once we created a culture of service and providing great service to the customer, that's kind of where the light switch turned. And I said, wow, we could really, not only have a great business, but provide opportunities and careers for people.
So tell us about, some of the methodologies, or give some professional tips now to business owners out there. If you tell them that, hey, you want to bring in somebody from a different company and bring them into your company and try and change that person, or start fresh and bring somebody in new and acclimate them or help them build your culture, I think everybody would agree, no matter who you are, that you do need that element. Even if you do have some experienced people you're hiring, you do need a majority of people who are kind of being brought up, through the minor leagues, if you will, in that way. Even in baseball or football, the draft is the way you grow the team and win championships. You're not going to bring in free agents to win. A good free agent might tip you over the top, but it's not going to be the foundation of the company in that way. You got to go fish in the right pond. So tell us about how you, where you learned how to find inexperienced people that would be good people to train. Tell us about that.
Definitely. So there's a lot more opportunities nowadays with trade schools. Trade schools are kind of popping up all over the place. And, we work with the PHCC, but there's other schools like in San Bernardino, there's Summit College, Summit Career College. And, we've actually been finding some great success hiring, students from Summit Career College. So.
Now you say you get involved with those things, PHCC and Summit College and those type of things. Tell us what that looks like. What does that get involved look like? It's a simple word, but probably a little bit harder than just the word involved. Tell us about that. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the PHCC goes, attending they have monthly events. We're actually going to an event tonight in Orange County. I'm not sure if you're going to be there, but
Mike Prankevich is going to have one there. So he's a good friend too. He believes in also the same philosophy you have as well too.
Absolutely.
So you're going to go to Orange County tonight. You're a stickler for going out to the event. So you give up some evenings and some time with your family to go see if you can find a way to help other people's families to do that. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And it's all about networking at those events. And I was actually a director of education at the PHCC Orange County and Inland Empire in 2021. So, giving back and volunteering in these schools and everything can really get you, grow your knowledge and grow your network.
That is the minimum I think anybody can do is find the local PHCC or ACA if you're an air conditioning contractor, or, one of these other, you might have a local association, and finding ways that you can band together as contractors, because nobody can do this on their own. Would that be correct there?
Yeah.
Like, did you say that it's not just utility, you're just helping the plumbing community in California trying to develop people, right? And let's talk about the other thing with the trade school and the Summit thing. How do you break that veneer? You just walk up to the place and say, hey, I'm a plumbing company and I want to get this to help your people, or what? How do you do it? Do you approach them and say, I want to get employees from you guys, or I want to help you with education? What's the approach that a plumber or an HVAC company or electrician, tell us about what the approach would be if you were going to give somebody advice for approaching a trade school or the local college and getting involved with that program. What's the best approach you would say for a contractor with those kind of educational facilities?
So for the record, the PHCC, there's no poaching going on there. Those are actually employees of the businesses.
Okay, so PHCC program. Tell us about that then. So PHCC is if you have somebody, you're developing that secondary education now at that point to really dig in and make sure they can prove and graduate in a more precise way than you're saying.
Correct. Yeah. In order to get into the PHCC program, you have to be working for an organization. So
I see.
When we go there and we teach the students and everything, and they're already working for another company. So, we're helping them out. We're trying to grow, the plumbing community in general in the industry.
I get it. So those employees that were in the PHCC are part of an employee of a company, and you're not allowed to recruit another employee when you're in that program, right? Employees aren't allowed to sneak and, hey, come apply at our place or whatever kind of thing.
That would be unethical.
We'll come back to that later. That's
Sure.
an interesting thing. But let's go back to that thing with Summit and the other trade schools. What's the approach so it doesn't come off like I'm trying to poach all your students here? Because I'm pretty sure that those places, are kind of a little bit skeptical when a business approaches them and says, "What's the best approach for our business to approach those trade schools?"
So the best approach, I would say, would just be to. I haven't really gone to Summit yet, but I want to go meet the professor and stuff, and kind of do that. But we've just been getting a lot of students that are applying at our business, and every time they're getting ready to graduate, I think the teacher is telling them, hey, go put your applications out and stuff. And if I see Summit Career College, just because I know the reputation, I'm all over it.
I see.
Yeah. So we get them right in for an interview, and then we do on-the-job training in the truck, and then we have the PHCC 4-year apprenticeship to back it up.
So you've already gone to what's the difference between the trade school training experience and like a PHCC training experience? Is that significantly more detailed, or tell us about the difference between those two things?
Yeah, I'd say it's significantly more detailed, like you're saying. And Summit Career College is like a 6-month program. Well, one semester, you may be able to do 2, but maybe there's a beginner and then a advanced program. But the PHCC is an elaborate program where you're learning from the ground up the plumbing trade.
Now, is there anything specifically you do to market to find employees at like your local college or finding something like that? That's a good question, I know, but I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. How do you find those? I mean, everybody applies at your place. Why do they apply at your place? Is there something that you're in your advertising or the way your company's structure where it invites people to do that? Tell us about that.
This is where I'm comfortable talking.
Okay, okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah, it's all.
So we've been since I started my business 2 years ago, we've been big on social media. So right off the bat, not only does it speak to our potential customers, but we have created a great culture, and the new younger people in the trade really want to be a part of what we got going on. So.
Well, that's awesome. So, yeah, that's one thing. If you want to check out the social media channels on Instagram, I didn't even know Instagram existed until I saw this guy's channel. I'm like, oh, I guess that's the thing going on over there, right? I was on Facebook. I'm old school, but then I was on Facebook and I start getting into the TikTok, and then from TikTok I started noticing that when it shut down, I'm like, oh, what else could it? Oh, it's Instagram. Then I noticed that you're flooding the videos at Instagram. So that social media thing, the value is not just letting customers see what the inside of your business looks like, and how much fun your team has doing their job, the joy of service in a way, but also the people who are doing it. So how many people do mention that to you about the social media things when they come in and apply with you?
Yeah, I would say 99% of the people that walk in the door say, I found you on social media, or I've been following you on social media. And so it's just been, they already know what we're all about before they even get to the interview.
By the way, Cody's at our event here at the Total Immersion event in Culver City with one of his employees. He's taking them to another level of communication education so far. And how important is that element of it? I know the workmanship and things is good, but to me, workmanship is learning it, but getting out and doing it. You really can't learn unless you go out there and scrape your knuckles and screw up a few things and go back and have to fix it again. Right? Would you agree with that? That the technical part of the job, you can have knowledge, but application is really one of the only ways to really master that part. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, and we're all about employee development. Not only actually doing the work, but just providing the highest level of service. And we have a customer first approach where our guys have to show up ready to go on every single job.
Mm-hmm. And how do you keep the level of enthusiasm up? So what do you do with your employees when I watch your social media channel where everybody looks like they're smiling and having fun? How much effort does that take to make sure everybody's happy? Because I think a lot of places, first thing in the morning, everybody's like, oh my God, we got another day at work. And it seems like there, the lights go on and everybody's has a joy of service. So explain how you try to create that culture. What's the seeds of doing that to make sure that it attracts? So you grow by attraction, not by promotion, it sounds like to me. Tell me more about that.
Well, I think the culture starts with the owner. Every day I show up, I try to be there before anybody in the morning. So when they walk in, they see me at my desk, they tighten up real quick, and then we just have fun, man. We play music in the mornings and stuff. And anytime people come in the office, I have an open door policy where any employee can come in and just have a conversation.
Yeah, a lot of times I go to a plumbing company or a heating air conditioning, and I say that's the day the music died. There's nothing going on. I think before I speak at a place, it is nice when you have some music going on and it kind of sets a tone. We're having fun. This is going to be a great time for Uncle Joe speaking at our place. Mm-hmm. And then the music goes off and it's time to perform, right? It's kind of like almost setting a stage every day. And I think, if I'm not speaking there, then the performance is in the field. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
And so everybody's on stage in the field there. Tell us more about the social media. Is this something you think that you should know? There's a lot of social media companies that maybe even people from different countries that say, hey, we'll do your social media for you. What tips would you give people about social media in terms of farming it out, doing it in-house, and doing that? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the first thing I did when I started my business, the most important thing to me was getting a creative director or getting a media company to help me out, right? So I hired a creative director. It's a third party, but I communicate with them constantly, on brand. If I have a question about a post, we talk about it before and stuff. And he has been the biggest aspect of keeping us on brand with our company. And I know we got the black and white, we're really modern and stuff. We're a little bit different. Yeah. We're shaking up the market a little bit, but I like that, and we're just changing the game and having that second person to throw things back and forth off of has been the biggest part of my success.
So it is a third party, but it's a local third party, because I remember I met the person when I came out there, right? What's his name?
His name is Mike.
Mike, that's right. I was going to say Mike, but I want to make sure I had it right. So Mike helps you with that. And then you and him talk, and you kind of talk about what kinds of things you like to focus on and emphasize, or maybe he throws some ideas at you. Well, how does that, tell us about that relationship and how that kind of works. So if somebody did have somebody like that, what does that relationship look like?
Yeah, well, I love marketing, and my mind works in weird ways, being with my creativity. And sometimes it may be from us filming, somewhere doing something. We'll talk about it then. Or it could be like, hey, I got this idea. What do you think about this? And we kind of throw this back and forth. So, and it really could be with him. He's great. I could do it. I could contact him at 10 o'clock at night and say I got an idea, and he'll hit me back, or he'll hit me back in the morning or something. And again, we just two creative minds coming together to keep this brand on track.
And then it gets executed. And then, so what does it feel like when you see your videos go out there? Are you ever surprised when you see the videos hit the public then at that point?
When we first got this business started, it was every time we put a post out, I was cringing. I was like, oh, that's like, I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want to do stuff like this. I was like, I'm a plumber. I don't want to. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And I never thought I could be sitting on a podcast with anybody, let alone you, Joe.
I think the biggest thing about social media is just get started, and myself, even though I like getting in front of people and teaching as well, like sounds like you do too. It is the first part is let's get started with the class, or let's get things going. What have you learned about educating people? And because when you do plumbing, it's different. We got to call, find the problem, and we fix it. And it seems that's that part, once you're experienced, seems under control. Is education, when you're educating people, what are some of the pitfalls or some of the challenges of taking a young person and developing them? Because that takes time, and you're investing time in that person. Tell me a little about some of the challenges there.
Well, first thing is you got to understand that they're going to fail, and failure is how you're going to learn. If you're not failing out there in the field, you're not learning, and so I think you just got to let them go a little bit and trust in the younger guys. They let them, as an owner, they're going to make some mistakes, but as long as they don't make the same mistake twice and they're learning from it, that's really the key. And that creates a good culture too, where I'm not the guy that's screaming and yelling at the guys or reprimanding them like crazy. Yeah. If we make a mistake or if we do something good, I'm coaching them through their jobs. I'm coaching them through, whether it's just something in the office or in the field, it's always a coaching moment.
Yeah, so to me, coaching means accountability. Accountability means if they did good based on what you trained them and they achieved that training in the field, accountability looks like a celebration. How much celebration do you guys do over there?
We do a ton of celebration. Again, that's part of the culture, and just like having conversations like this, laughing with the guys. I just love what I do, Joe. That's it.
It also can mean when people do screw something up, that you have to have patience and you have to have poise. as an owner. How hard is it for you to maintain your poise? Is that something that came from your family or something that you have achieved? Or tell me about how do you maintain your poise when, it's something just costs you thousands of dollars because somebody screwed it up and you got to go do it again or something like that? That has to happen, right? Most likely.
Yeah, I think it's a McLeod thing, but
Is it? It could be.
yeah, I learned a lot of that from my father, and it's crazy because I saw my father go through everything when I was a kid before I even knew anything about plumbing. I saw him handle his stress and everything, so I feel that thanks to my father, I have that like grit. I have that grit to know to get through those little situations and just move forward. I mean, whether it's a vehicle accident or something like that. I mean, there's things that go wrong in business every single day. It's all about just moving forward and maintaining poise, like you're saying. And I think you got to be built for it a little bit too.
Oh yeah. I always say 5% of the business is chaos, but that 5% can mushroom cloud and really spread itself. It seems like we focus on the negativity of that 5% rather than the learning lessons we're getting from it, right? To maintain that poise and that part of it. So there's a myth. One of the myths is that, it costs a lot of money to bring an experienced guy in. Oh, so I'll save money by training people to do it that way. If you start looking at it that way, though, is it really a savings of money? I mean, you might be less in payroll because you're starting somebody out from trade school, but there's more in other teaching and training, or maybe having to do the job twice or things like that. Would you say it's like net the same in that part of it there when it comes to how much it costs to either have a new person versus an old person?
I mean, there's definitely positives and negatives to it for sure. I don't know if I could put a number to it, but both have their strengths. I mean, you can have a guy that comes in and he's great with sales. If he can fit with the culture, that's great. But it's very rare, as you know. So bringing the younger guys up, and not even younger, just bringing guys up that are new to the trade and everything. Some people can fit with the culture, and you could really train them from the ground up.
Mm-hmm. What, just give it this to wrap this up here, I think, what kind of advice would you give service contractors then? Just in this, how long have you been running this place now?
I've had my business 2 years. I've been a plumbing business owner for 14 years.
14 years, 2 years in this one. So tell us, what are some of the lessons you learned and some of the things? Give us some of the golden rules that you've learned in those 14 years and the 2 years of your own business here now, this last business, this utility plumbing. What are some of the golden rules you would say you would give contractors who are just kind of starting out and who are looking to grow? A lot of startups and things like that. And you probably hope you have empathy for those people, do you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because they're diving into this thing, and it could be torture if they don't know what they're getting involved with, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the golden rules you would give people in terms of starting a business, growing your team, and give me a list of a few things you would give them if you were putting your arm around those people and giving them some advice? What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, the first thing I would say, which I made this mistake at my previous business, was you got to show up every day. You got to show up every day for your customers, for your employees, and that really sets the tone for the culture. And then the next thing would just be to fail forward. There's going to be failures along the way, like I said, mostly almost every day. And you just got to keep pushing forward and just have that grit, especially in the trades.
It's not how you fail; it's how you respond to that failure, right?
Absolutely.
And so it sounds like you're committed to responding with poise and the determination and grit, and making sure that you do stand behind it. So, what would a customer? What would be a really great review that a customer would say about utility plumbing if they, looking at all the things, the pluses and minuses here? What might a customer, like, you saw the best review that would really illustrate what you're trying to achieve with the public? What would be the best review you would get from a customer? Go ahead and give us, how would you paraphrase your golden review that you'd love to see with customers?
The best review that we could get, I know we're going to be good at plumbing. I know we're going to provide a great service, but if a customer says something about our employee being a good person, that's what we're shooting for. We try to hire good people before anything.
Before good plumbers.
That's
I
was gonna say that.
Well, you can turn good people into good plumbers.
Absolutely.
That's it. I think turning good people are something that it's something that comes to you they bring that to you, that being a good person is something everybody brings. And people might have little character defects, but you can always help them acknowledge that you're watching and seeing those things, so they kind of straighten themselves out. But good plumbing is something that takes work to develop. That's part of your job now, to do that part of it there. Great. Would you be open to people contacting you or calling you? Is that something that how many people ever call you and talk to you about doing all this stuff? Because you must be, I know you're kind of semi-famous for it, and kind of a cult following in this area, but
I don't know about all that.
how many people talk to you about your business and stuff like that?
I got to be honest, I talk to other plumbing business owners almost every day. You mentioned like Mike Prinkavage with the family plumber down in Los Alamitos. There's just guys that we really throw things off back and forth off of each other, and that just goes back to networking, and keeping our minds sharp with what we're doing.
So if they do want to, are you open to being contacted?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if people want to contact you, what would they do?
If you want to contact me, you can reach me, find us on social media, Utility Plumbing Services, or Cody McLeod _88. We're on all the social media platforms and stuff, and
just comment and say, hey, can we talk or something like that? Does that be fair?
Yeah, our number's on there. You can reach me direct, or you can just direct message me.
Well, it's nice. Again, Cody, thanks so much for your development of people. You and I share a passion for that. That's one thing that you can tell, although there's a significant age difference, we still have something very similar to saying we love to see the development of people. What's finally, one last question. What's the rewards that you get when you see a young person or a person that's who started out and they weren't in the trades and they were a little unsure and not confident, turn into somebody who's more confident? We have one of your technicians here this week, and he is an amazing, he definitely was the cream of the crop of the class. We had 21 people here. I'd say he's in the top 2 people that we have graduated in this training so far. What kind of reward does that provide you? Tell me what you get out of that.
Well, as a business owner, honestly, that's my favorite thing about what I do, is providing careers for people and giving them an opportunity and watching them grow. I mean, you saw Isaiah this week. He's been super excited, and he can't wait to get back to implement what you've taught him this week. So,
all right, everybody, that's all we have now for the Service MVP podcast. We'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.